Elizabeth, I see you're here. Is there any answer for me? You can tell me now.
Yes, sir. My opinion is that the 7 days that we're doing now is just fine. I don't think it means the 8th day. I looked up to make sure there's no case law or attorney general's opinions, and I find nothing on it that would clarify it. So our rule says exact same thing the state law does. 7 days in between. I think that we are complying with that.
If you say we are, that's fine with me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Michelle, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Normally in the bottom, in the middle, when I hit share screen, it kind of minimizes the people's pictures, and over to the right, I get all the names and I can see the hands going up, but it doesn't do that this time. There's when I hit share screen, it says select a window or an application that you want to share.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah.
click participants, the button to the left of share screen. Share screen is what you use when you're presenting.
That's the one I hit participants. It's been so long since I've used this. Thank you, Kyle. Okay, I have 4 o'clock and time to start the meeting here. Ms. Only, if you would, I'll call the meeting to order for the February 16th, 2021 Rules and Appointments Committee. And Ms. Only, if you will call the roll, please.
Malinowski,
Here.
Barron, Mackey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Only. Have you heard from Gretchen Barron anything that she can, or has anybody heard?
No, sir, I haven't heard from her.
Okay, well, we have the quorum. I just didn't know if she was going to be late. We could wait a little bit. All right, the first order of business, number 2, approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion. I'll move to approve. Do I hear a second? Okay.
Second.
All right. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Only?
Malinowski,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
All
Motion
right.
passes.
Thank you. Number 3, adoption of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt the agenda as
And
presented.
I'll second it. So we have a motion and a second. Ms. Only, if you'll take the vote.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion
All right.
passes.
Thank you. Notification of vacancy. It looks like we've got 3 vacancies for the Airport Commission.
Mr.
No, I'm sorry, we have 1. Is that it? In parentheses, it says 3.
Yes, sir. I actually talked to Chris Eversman, and there's only 2 vacancies, which we had on the last agenda, so that one can be disregarded. The only one we have is actually the planning commission. We need to,
Okay, so then as far as the agenda goes, that's a deletion on it, right?
yeah, that just needs to be deleted.
Okay. I mean, technically, we're supposed to go back and reconsider the agenda. Ms. McLean, are you still there? Do we have to do that, or can we just get rid of this one?
Mr. Malinowski, I mean, I think it'd be appropriate at this point if you just got rid of it. You're definitely more in have problems if you want to add something to the agenda, but deleting something from the agenda that has already been approved the meeting before shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, and what I'll do is we'll delete this based on Chris Eversman's comment that we do not need to advertise any additional vacancies. Okay, Ms. Olney, you'll put that in the minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Barron, I see you're here. Welcome. If you'll add her to the attendance.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, so we have to advertise 3 vacancies for the planning commission, correct?
Correct.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to move forward with advertising these 3 vacancies.
Mr. Malinowski, before we make a motion, can I add, I guess, a point of discussion? Or in the previous minutes, we had that we wanted to discuss how these vacancies would be advertised moving
Yes, and it's
forward.
here. Under
Okay.
items for discussion, I saw it in there. It's not an action item.
It's
Where is it?
8F.
8, what was F? There you go.
Mhm.
Where's-
Okay, recruitment.
Right. So it's there.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Go back to, do I have a motion to approve the advertising of the notification of vacancies for the planning commission?
Motion to approve.
Okay, in a second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Only, if you'll call for the vote, please.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next will be our interviews. We have 3 of them, one for the LRADAC, Michelle Drayton, and I guess we're going to be doing it in this order, correct, Ms. Only? Then Maranta White and Sheena Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have Ms. White here?
Let me check with Miss Black and see if she is online.
Okay.
Mr. Malinowski,
Yes.
just based on the interviews, or we skip one, Michelle Drayton?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Ms. Only. If it's in order, we've got Drayton first. Well, we'll interview whoever's on the line.
It doesn't look like any of the applicants are on the line yet.
Well, then why don't we begin our discussion that we wanted to do? And did you tell Ms. Black when somebody comes on, let us know?
Yes, sir.
Because other than that, we have the appointments and that's it. Well, we'll go up to number 7 till somebody shows up. Items for action 7A. Consider moving the Horizon meeting to Tuesday and have delivery of finished agendas to council members by Thursday close of business. And I mentioned this, I believe, at the last meeting. This came about because we had council members saying, hey, these agendas are quite long. It wouldn't hurt if we had an additional day to try and get through them and make some sense of some of them. So that's why that came about. And on pages 24 to 27, we can see the discussion and some of the comments given to us by staff. So I'll just open the floor for anybody that would like to begin to comment. And I'll hold mine till later if you don't cover them.
Mr. Malinowski, I'll start the conversation.
Sure. Go ahead.
Just based upon what I've read, It appears that taking one day away, and this is my take.
Right.
One day from staff being allowed to or having to prepare the documents, in my opinion, it doesn't seem like it's a great big deal. And so I am for the fact of, allowing, being a brand new council member. We've been so blessed to not have the 600 and 700 pages coming right in, but I anticipate them. I do anticipate them. And so as we anticipate them, I traditionally, the last couple of weeks, have gotten my packet around 4 or 5 o'clock on Friday evening. The day is gone. And then you've got the weekend and hopes for Monday to come. So I think that given an extra day to be able to properly prepare so that we can govern accordingly for the citizens of Richland County would be important. Although I would say that for our staff, that we allow for them to do their jobs, and at any point that you feel as though, I think this is what I read somewhere in there. If it's one of those things where an agenda item is not going to be met, or we're not having all the information that we need, then staff has that due diligence to bring that forth to us. So if I'm interpreting that correctly, then I think it is a give and take at this moment. And so as we look forward to moving forward and doing things in excellence, I think that this is one of those things that could benefit us tremendously.
And I agree with you on that, Ms. Barron. I think it's a matter of we can change these rules, ask staff to have them written up so that we can move it all back a day and council members can receive it a day early, with the understanding, I'm sure not everything takes the full 6 or 7 days that gets to them. And some may only take 1 or 2 days, but for items that take a little bit longer and they need the extra time, all they have to do is come forward at the meeting that was scheduled to be at and say, we really needed the extra time, and we'll have it for you at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think we should be striving to do. Ms. Mackey, any comments?
No, I agree with moving it up a day.
Okay. All right. So on that one, how about you, Mr. Livingston? Your thoughts? You're muted.
You're muted, sir.
My concern is just making sure staff have enough time to get us information. If you move it up and staff doesn't have time to provide the information, then get to move it up. So I'd like to, at least if we'll do anything, let's do it on a trial basis and see how it works out. I don't want to just commit to something long term with my concern about not having enough time to get the information compiled.
Okay. Administrator Brown, I see you there. Could you, would you like to give us any comments on this?
Yes, sir. Just briefly, I do have Ashiya Myers on the line, and her group, if you recall, was she worked with the clerk on former council, and there was just some brief information to give you a heads up on. And then I think that at the end of the day, we are more than willing to assist the will of the council. We just wanted to make sure that you were aware of how that kind of flows with your meetings. But other than that, we are ready. So, Ms. Myers, would you give them just a brief synopsis of how that will impact or roll out before they move on to the item on their agenda?
Certainly. Good afternoon, members of council, Committee Chair Malinowski. Basically, as is listed in the briefing document, what ends up happening for about 6 to 7 months out of the year, due to how the council meetings stack up, motions that are made may be pushed back an additional month, only because staff time will be reduced, and depending upon the amount of staff time required for any research for ordinance changes, et cetera, that of course will delay the council or the committee consideration of that item and then the eventual council consideration of that item. Other than that, staff started items will of course flow a little bit differently, but we'll try to get those things to you as quickly as possible into the clerks for dissemination based upon the updated schedule of delivery on Thursday instead of on Friday.
Okay, and also Ms. Myers, please understand that things, I mean, to me, and I believe to the other council members that have just spoken here today, if an item comes up that is of urgent nature, we put things like that right on the agenda sometimes at the council meeting. So things like motions, if it's a motion that's that urgent, then maybe it should have been made prior to the 6 days that you are saying you need. And if it pushes it back 1 month, most of the motions that I recall are for, like you say, changes in ordinances and working for the betterment of the overall county government. And those are items that will need the necessary time for you folks at staff to make sure that the information and research gets done before it comes to council. And I don't have a problem with it.
Mr. Malinowski.
Yes, sir.
Sure, Mr. Livingston.
But oftentimes, like, there are motions that come up that you wouldn't know, a week, 2, 3 weeks ahead of time. And it's going to shrink the amount of time council can deal with it. It'd be nice if you knew about every motion that's going to pop up, a month ahead of time, but you're not aware of that.
Right. Well, I mean, we did in the past, we had a council member that always made a point of, it seemed, to getting several motions on the agenda the Monday before the meeting. So I think they thought about these things over the weekend. But as you said, Mr. Livingston, let's put it out there as a trial basis and see how it works, see how the motions go, and work from there.
For clarity, if I may.
Sure, Ms. Myers.
When you say on a trial basis, when would you all be looking to implement the change so that I can make staff, department directors aware so that they can go ahead and shift their focus on how they respond to briefing documents to get those to administration in a timely manner?
Well, right now, the committee can't make the final decision. We're going to have to send this to the council and have discussion allowed there. And you may have members that, there may be a majority that say, no, I don't want it. I want to keep it like it is. So we'll wait for that input from the full council. And the fact this is only a discussion item tonight, we really won't even get to the full council till that it'd be the first meeting in March, I believe.
Okay, I'll let them know. It may possibly coming down the timeline, just so they can go ahead and look at how logistically they'll meet those needs on the trial basis.
Okay. What we'll need, though, from you in coordination with Administrator Brown, is some type of language that we can put in here to change what we have now, so that can be presented to the full council so they can see the overall effect that this would have.
Yes, sir.
So we would need that. Let's see, Ms. Only, I guess we'll have a meeting March 1st. I'm sorry, March 2nd. So we would need that March 2nd to review in the Rules Committee and then forward to the council meeting for that March 2nd evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure I'll get with Ms. Brown.
Okay, does that give you enough time to come up with some changes for us, those 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what we'll do.
Mr. Malinowski,
Yes.
so just a question, as we look forward to doing this on a trial basis,
Right.
could we talk through what that trial looks like? Are we looking for a trial of 4 months, 6 months? What are we looking to do as we move forward? Because it's when we start counting months, and look at right now, we're not having this discussion until March, and if it passes, then we probably won't look to implement it till maybe April. Then we're in the dead heat of the summer. We don't meet in August. So I'm just concerned about how we'll get a true reading of if this is really going to work.
Ms. Myers, can you address that at all? Since you know the months with the meetings that we've got to be possibly have concerns with and all. What would be a good trial period? I mean, we're looking at 6 months or 9 months or just a full year, and that takes everything in.
Right. Well, I would actually want to touch base with Central Services prior to answering that question, only because I don't know how that one day impacts their delivery, because we rely on them to take them to the different council members who request the hard copies. So I don't know if they have set aside Friday for that and Thursday is set aside for something else. So I would like to touch base with them to see what that would look like. And then if possible, could I get back to you all when we come back with the language, or I can correspond with you via email to give you an update to say 6 months from implementation would be a good trial. Because technically during the 6 months, we would have a standard month where you have the 2 weeks between meetings, and then we would have the holiday months in between as well, because the holiday months are when things get a little dicey. So
Yeah,
6 months would
yeah.
work.
That's fine, and that's a good point. You have to touch base with other staff members to include Central Services. So you could, as far as I'm concerned, just bring that recommendation back when you bring us the language at that March meeting.
Yes, sir, will do.
Okay, thank you. And there's no action on that right now because it was strictly discussion. We've discussed it, and there's only if you'll put that to an action item for the next meeting, please.
Yes, sir. And Miss Drayton is on the line now.
Okay, Ms. Drayton, welcome. And we need to go into a
Thank you,
breakout.
Fab. I'm sorry, sir.
Now, I'm asking our clerk to council, Miss Only, if we need to go to a breakout room for the interview. Normally, that's what we do.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Give me 1 second. I will bring y'all over to the breakout room.
Okay. So just stand by, Ms. Drayton, and we'll all meet on the other side, hopefully. All right.
Is Miss Only on? Is she sending us to another room?
I'm sending you to another room. Hang on 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
We're back where we started. So, Miss Only, we wait for you now.
Ms. Mallon, I just want you to know I won't be joining you with the interviews. I got to take another map before the regular council meeting, so I'll see y'all later.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Livingston.
Hey, Mr. Livingston.
All right.
Hopefully, we'll make it there.
That's pretty good, Ms. Malinowski.
Ms. Only, are you still here with us?
Malinowski, I'm gonna go walk down the hall. Give me just a moment. Let me see if I can check.
Okay, thanks, Administrator.
Well, I see her
Oh,
there.
wait. Wait, hold on.
Here we go.
It says join now. Okay.
No.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. If you just hold for a moment, the committee members are gonna go into a private breakout room. They're gonna be interviewing individuals that are participating. And if you just hold on for a moment,
Okay.
know when it's your turn to go into the breakout room.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
I can't hear anything, so I'm trying to call in. I'm not sure if you all can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wait, I think I just heard you.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, sorry. Zoom is not our normal formatting, so sorry. Thank you.
So what's going to happen, Ms. White? They're in breakout rooms to do one interview. They're going to bring you into a breakout room, so you'll see a prompt on your screen, and then you'll click it and you'll join them and you'll do your interview. But normally until they pull you out, it's usually very quiet.
Okay, because I thought I was just having technical issues over here. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. You use Microsoft Teams all the time? All right. So eventually you'll see a prompt
Okay.
on your screen.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Looks like everybody's back. Ms. Olney, can you, for the benefit of everyone, give a little description of this Midlands Workforce Development Board? Do you have that in front of you there or not?
Give me 1 second.
Okay, while you're looking that up, can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Who is the one that puts the advertisement out for this board? Is it us in Richland County or is it them at the board?
We put the ad out, but they recruit people for their board, I believe.
Thank you. That's what I wanted our new members to know. You'll notice the only people that ever apply for this board are people that they have gone out and recruited and asked to make application. I really don't know why we have to do this part of it, because we don't really have independent say on what takes place on this. It's sort of just something that has to be gone through the motions, and we do it.
Yeah, well, sir, I would even go a step further to say that although I applaud Ms. Mann and her colleagues for recruiting, because having served on a county appointed board, I wasn't recruited, and most of the individuals that I served with had not been recruited by that board, and it was interesting. It was interesting. Some of us come with the mindset to serve, and then the others just came and because they were looking to build their resume. And as I transitioned, as staying on that board, I realized that our executive director started having a more active role in recruiting board members, and I saw where our board did a turn. And we started getting more things done because people were there because they had a vested interest in being there and was bringing the expertise. So I think that we're here not to rubber stamp it, but just to say, okay, we can see why you were recruited. And I felt that way today about a couple of the applicants. I could see why they were recruited.
Right.
So I think we still hold fast to what we've been doing. And we reserve the right to say, we don't see what you see.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that if something happens with a board like this, that it doesn't come back to us because of the fact that we really, like I'm saying, these people are handpicked, so to say. I see your point. That's a good point, that you handpick somebody that's going to do the job for you, hopefully. But I hope you're not handpicking somebody because they're going to go along with you and everything that you want when they get there. That's my only concern there. So,
noted.
Okay, that's why I said it that way. So, all right. If there's no other discussion on the interviews or the groups, we need to get back over here to making the appointments, which will be starting at the bottom of page 4. It shows that Lorraine, we've got 2 to pick out of the 4 that are in front of us. Harry Ward, Marvin Robinson, Andrew Tollison, and Michelle Drayton. Any discussion that you'd like to have on that? Or if somebody would just like to make a motion to appoint 2, whichever you would like to do. Or if you don't feel comfortable with 2, you can make a motion to appoint 1, and then we'll go for the other one.
Well, I do have a little discussion,
Okay.
and maybe you guys can help me process this even further. It appears that either we get brand spanking new people with new blood on the boards, or we get, and I mean this with all the love in my heart, recycle board members who, they stay on the board until their terms are maxed out. They sit out and they come back. And I'm not, I'm on the fence about how I feel about that. because in one instance, you know, they bring institutional knowledge, and in the other part, you know, it's more of the same. And I do feel that way about a couple of the I guess our candidates here for the RADAC. That, I mean, great people, wonderful expertise, but you know, are we doing our due diligence with voting more of the same? I don't know, and maybe I'm thinking too much just because it's a committee, but these are committees that make great impact in our community.
They do, and this is one that definitely does, and it's a kind of, as you said, sometimes the expertise that an individual has outweighs an individual coming in that doesn't have any expertise, and the only reason that they want to be on a board is because they've had an incident in their life, be it themselves personally, a friend, a family member, and so that causes them to want to get into the mix and try to help out. But in their wanting to get into the mix and helping out, do they really have what's needed to bring to that board to help the board and assist the board in moving forward with the day-to-day workings of that particular group? And that's kind of what I try to look at in here. I think the last individual that we interviewed for the board, which was Michelle Drayton, she's got an awful lot of expertise in there, and that's part of her daily life. It seems to me like she'd be unless I'm missing something here, I kind of thought she'd be a well-qualified person for the board.
I would agree.
When it comes to a couple of the others that we've interviewed, I think one of them for sure is in that group that I just spoke about, that they want to be in there because of incidents that happened within their circle of acquaintances. I'll put it that way. And another because of they themselves being involved and influenced by this type of a thing. But can you get that across to others is what we need to look at. I usually go through and I number mine for an order of picks. And, you know, as of right now, my number one pick would be Michelle Drayton. My number 4 pick would be Andrew Tollison. And then the other 2 are sort of a toss up in between 2 and 3. Harry Ward gave us a very, very detailed life history when we spoke to him. Mm-hmm. I was hoping we were going to get the other interviews in the time allotted. The Marvin Robinson, the other one, seems to me a lot of what he talked about, and I believe I even asked him about it during the meeting, during the interview, was he's into fundraising, right, and wanting to see funds get raised to keep things going, which is fine, and you need that. But is fundraising taking precedence over the programs and moving the committee forward? So that's why actually I put him at number 3 and Harry Ward at number 2, because Harry Ward has served before and done things and now moved into this county, has been out for a while, but still has a desire and enthusiasm, it seemed to me, to want to continue here and helping out. So there's my thoughts on the 4 candidates. Anybody else have any comments?
No, but I'd love to make a motion if you guys are ready.
Go right ahead, Ms. Mackey.
All right. Make a motion to appoint Harold Ward and Michelle Drayton to fill the 2 vacancies on the RADAC board.
And I will gladly second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Only, if you will take the vote, which will be the recommendation to the full council tonight from this committee to appoint Harold Ward and Michelle Drayton.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, now the Midlands Workforce Development Board. Take a motion on that one. Now, again,
Make a motion to accept.
okay, go ahead.
Good. Make a motion to accept the two names submitted tonight, Miranda White and Sheena Thompson, for the vacancies on the Midlands Workforce Development Board.
Okay,
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing
I
none?
would-
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to go on the record to say that it was delightful to be a part of that interview, those two interviews. Women who are definitely engaged in what's going on in the workforce and attached to large numbers of individuals who push our economy every day in Richland County. So I think that they definitely would be great picks.
Yeah, and they each definitely were not going to take a back seat to anyone based on the way they answered those questions. Which is
Oh no.
Okay, so we have a motion to appoint Miranda White and Sheena Thompson to the Midlands Workforce Development Board. Ms. Only, take the vote, please.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. We've discussed the Horizon matter already. One thing that was brought up last week, and with the couple minutes remaining here, maybe we can get a little something in. If you go to F7 or 8F, as in Foxtrot, for the boards, committees, and commissions recruitment. Is there anything we can give instructions for to the clerk's office at this point? Ms. Barron, do you want me to add something there? I can. Ms.
Well,
Mack?
I've just been making discussion. We had it last week, and we really, I would like to encourage us to create a process.
Okay, maybe I can quickly offer this. Ms. Mackey and I spoke earlier today on the phone, and I believe we were both in agreement that for a process, what we need to do first off is clear up all this backlog of the term expirations here and get up to modern times. And we felt that to do that, or at least I did, we start with the oldest one, Ms. Only, and let's start getting these old ones out of here and new ones done. If we don't have the applicants to do it, then we need to have, for example, Building Codes Board of Appeals. We need to have the people from that department go out and try to find some folks and advertise and push that. Because it's not just up to this council, it's got to be up to the building people. And the same with like your Board of Zoning Appeals and on, some of these other ones. So we need to do that, but I'd like to see these term expirations, when I see some of them here from 16, 17, and 18, if those are actually accurate, let's start with those, Ms. Only. And then I'd like to see, to offer to my colleagues on council, we put into place a method whereby the positions, the vacancies are advertised maybe 45 to 60 days prior to the expiration, so we don't wind up in this situation.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of a quick in a nutshell. Ms. Mackey, would you like to add to that? We got a minute left.
No, I think that's a nutshell. And then I think, we'll talk about other ways to promote it, but definitely council and staff promotion and more vacancies is needed.
Okay.
So to be clear, Mr. Malinowski,
Yes.
we are directing Ms. Only to aggressively attack this list, starting with the oldest person or the oldest term, and reaching out to them personally to see where things are.
Correct. And like I say, if we've got departments within our own house here, then we need to have those departments pitch in and try to help, and let's figure out what's the problem.
Sir,
Okay.
we'll get working on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion
So
to adjourn.
moved.
I've got a motion and I'll second and a second. I guess we got to do it this way. Ms. Only, go ahead and take the vote.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending. See you